Translation: we heard a story that was kind of like this, and then we added our own. Hey, dude. Are you here to examine the body or make note of all the sense of dread going on around the farm? You know demonic possession is afoot because there are swarming insects nearby, cliché. No wonder no one answered the door. Tom Wilkinson always seems to be in the bedroom.
Ethan Thomas. He's not Catholic, though. Methodist, I think.
So, you want to find someone unbiased and you pick someone who goes to a church based on a religion that formed as a counter to Catholicism? I gotta say, the filmmakers probably did that on purpose, and I shouldn't be mad at it. I just think it's funny these lawyers think as long as you're a man of faith, you treat all religions equally and with reverence.
I've seen him tear people up on cross. He's a shrewd son of a bitch.
All right, pull him off whatever he's doing. He's lead prosecutor.
But what if what he's doing is being a shrewd son of a bitch on another high-profile case? Wouldn't you at least check to see what Ethan is doing before making this call?
I heard something about an exorcism gone bad, but I don't know the details.
I know the movie is inspired by a true story, but I still like to think the pitch was, do you know what Primal Fear was missing? An exorcism. And we could even get Laura Linney to be in it, but she'll play Richard Gere. And then an exec said, I have no clue what Primal Fear is, but it's 5 till 5 on Friday, and I have to approve something this week. Will $19 million work for the budget?
So you like the spotlight?
I'm used to it. I defended James Van Hopper.
We never do actually find out what James Van Hopper did, which is fine. But do we have to hear his name drop 47 times? Every time I hear it, I get way more curious about that case than the one the movie's focusing on.
I'm an agnostic, I guess. I'm not really sure.
I'm sorry, but I don't think you're the right attorney for me. I think I'll stick with my public defender.
He worships Satan, but at least he believes there's a God, you heathen. This cat hisses for no goddamn reason. I guess it knows that Laura Linney is defending the priest, and it's mad about that. But when the movie cuts to a wide shot, all three of these cats are as serene as it gets. If there was a problem, they wouldn't be sitting quietly in this room having a tea party.
That was Emily's dream, to be a teacher. That's why she went away to the university.
Movie doesn't play lightning and thunder after she says this. Looks like they should have called this movie The Exorcism of Emily Rose, am I right? This article about the trial does pretty well for a while and then starts repeating itself after the fourth paragraph. Also, the article above this one is one of those vague say-nothing bullshits that fill up a movie newspaper for authenticity, but ironically ends up doing the opposite. Matchbox 20 would be pleased.
You won't be able to see Emily sitting here day after day during this trial.
Because, after all, it's a murder trial. If she were here, that would be some huge news, I'll tell you what. It would be super damaging to my case.
She wrote me a letter saying that she'd been to a dance and she'd met a boy named Jason.
The Exorcism of Emily Rose on Friday the 13th. Not the pencils and pens, the horror, oh the horror. Yep, this is what happens after Christians commit the sin of dancing, all right. To be fair, this is just a common problem with dorm beds, and probably speaks more to the financial constraints of the university than it does to demonic possession.
I am chairman of the Department of Neurology.
Jesus, they should have just called this movie The Trial of Father Moore. It'd have been way more accurate. Wait, is this what happened in the dorm room? I thought everything happened in the bed, and then she ran out. Empty bed, empty toilet, spooky, excitement?
Demons exist whether you believe in them or not. And your involvement in this trial might just open you up to their attacks.
The question is, why don't they? Why don't they interfere? They stop Erin's watch at 3 a.m., but then they don't do that matters after that. I think they open her front door later. That's pretty evil, I suppose, but hardly an attack. What kind of dick demon decides to show his face in clown formations only visible by lightning strikes? And why isn't God stopping this? He must really hate dancing. Now this asshole's breathing on the glass, and he doesn't even bother to write I love you backwards with his fingers. Also, if she told Jason that she felt like she was completely possessed at the hospital, then what is this bullshit? Is the demon trying to get extra credit? Man, this dude is serious about you not copying off his test. Also, why is this class at night in a barely lit classroom? And holy shit, why is there a slide projector on in here? Everyone is clearly taking a test, so nobody's watching anything. Are these people supposed to be actual demons? Or is she just seeing shit because of the demon possessing her? Because if it's the latter, then these people are assholes for not stopping to see what's wrong with this poor woman running through the rain screaming. I'm sure they had a student union meeting to get to. I hear that night they were voting on whether or not Harbison cheese will be offered with the salads in the cafeteria, and if they could finally get some Grey Poupon up in that bitch. Choosing to smoke outside in a downpour instead of quitting smoking. And yes, I've been there many times. Doesn't make it any less of a sin. Can demons now get you in a church? Because isn't that supposed to be the one place they can't get you? I'm not looking that shit up. I mean, demons in a church would literally be a sin, so...
Can you turn that up, please?
Movie continues the myth that the local news plays at bars, and a story germane to the protagonist is always on at the same time. Bathroom stalls that sound like gunshots, or anything that could startle a person. Does anyone in a horror movie know how to set a glass on a counter without it falling? Asking for a friend, and a YouTube channel. Aaron closes the door, but doesn't seem the least bit interested that someone might have walked in. When I see stuff like this, I've always got to wonder, why does the demon show up outside of Father Moore's jail cell and outside the other door leading into this section of the prison? Why doesn't the demon show up directly outside his cell or inside his cell? Do demons need a key?
Counsel Bruner, my courtroom day begins at 9:30 a.m.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Which was 17 minutes ago.
I guess Erin couldn't show up on time because of the disturbance at her house at 3 in the morning. But blaming your lateness on unwanted demon intrusions is a sin. Sorry, Erin.
I didn't get a lot of sleep. The power outage knocked out my alarm clock.
So, does your alarm clock not take batteries? And you didn't try to find any other thing that could have woken you up in time for the case that's supposed to make you a partner at your firm? Characters in a horror movie brush up on supernatural shit at the library cliché.
Maybe we shouldn't just try to invalidate the prosecution's case by punching holes in the medical approach. Maybe we should also try to validate the alternative.
And maybe you should have come up with this strategy sooner than the night before the defense presents their case. This trial didn't start a week after Father Moore was arrested. These things take months to get going. We're supposed to believe Aaron is a good attorney, right?
Validate possession in a court of law.
Yes.
Hey guys, courts have defined possession for a really long time. It's a super important thing to know in property law. And, oh, you meant demon possession. You're right, that's going to be tougher to prove. But I'm sure you'll be able to mount a defense before tomorrow morning. Isn't it always raining during these Emily flashbacks? It'd be awesome if the local news was like, sunny all day this week, no chance of rain in the foreseeable future. Our weather predictions are tip-top. But after a series of downpours, a bunch of weather persons have to admit after 2 weeks of straight rain they believe in demon possession. If being triggered by people eating loudly and making nails on chalkboard noises with their silverware is a sign of demonic possession, then I must have all the demons in me.
She was always hungry, but she said they wouldn't let her eat.
First, Emily plays the pronoun game with Jason, which Jason then plays in a courtroom so that Aaron has to ask who the hell they are. College. No one will get any sleep at the Rose house tonight. Not because their daughter is dead from a demonic possession and their priest is on trial, but because of the intense beam of light coming down from that Bruce Almighty moon.
And when did Father Moore become involved?
Emily stayed home after that.
This is a super important question. When did Father Moore become involved and tell Emily to stop taking the fake drug this movie made up? But her father never really answers this question. One of the contentions of the prosecution is that she didn't take it long enough. But if they could establish that she took it for a month or however long this not real drug was supposed to help, that would be a pretty good defense, no? Isn't it the defense's duty to find out how long this drug takes to work in most cases and work from there? When you know Emily's in the condition she is, why the f*** are you sending your other daughter up to get her, potentially endangering herself? What the f*** is wrong with these parents? Eating your food with your mouth open. You don't have a chance, and the Warrens are too busy with a children's doll to help with this shit. And Constantine isn't real, even though I know you've got his poster beside your bed. I know I've asked this question before, but someone's going to have to tell me why the demon said that, then just fell over. I'm sure it's tired or something, but if that's the case, it should be easy to get out with a few incantations, right? It can't be both tired and strong, can it? I guess it could be weird that she's playing a piano, but this movie keeps finding the most inane things odd. I'm still not sure what to make of it.
Why did this possession happen to her?
I believe that Emily Rose was a hypersensitive.
Doctor loses points by not mentioning dancing as a probable cause.
Objection.
On what grounds?
How about silliness, Your Honor?
Ethan is shown to be able to hold his cool through this entire movie, but all of a sudden is objecting due to silliness? He's been presented as way too professional and his religious beliefs interfere with his professional life until the movie decides he needs to be a bigger dick than he has been.
The drug made her immune to the psycho-spiritual shock that exorcism is intended to provide.
Can you imagine trying to say these words with a straight face? And does anyone believe in this shit? It feels like the moment in Trial and Error when Michael Richards has that big speech at the end and it seems like it's going to work, but then the jurors come back unanimous that the defendant is guilty and make a point to say that his speech was admirable, but it had zero chance of working. Also, we still don't know how long she was off the drug and whether it could have stayed in her system that long for her brain to be exorcism-proof.
Have you ever used Gambutrol in your studies to test your theory about its effect on the possession experience?
Absolutely not. That would be dangerous to the patient.
But surely many demon-possessed people have been given this drug because they were diagnosed with epilepsy before, right? So you should have a lot of data from the field about this phenomenon, correct? Kind of drives me crazy when we're supposed to believe this person that they don't have actual goddamn data to support the claim. We're supposed to look at this doctor, smile, and be like, yeah, f*** you, Campbell Scott. You're a dick for even asking their experiments. That would hurt the patient, you I know I don't have any questions.
You're just making this one up?
Objection, Your Honor. Argumentative.
Sustained. Although I think he's just taking a page from your book, Counselor.
I know you're the judge in this case, but who the asked you?
Dr. Cartwright. Ring a bell?
I understand Erin's irritation with Father Moore for not telling her Dr. Cartwright was there, but some of this is on Erin, right? She's interviewed Mr. and Mrs. Rose probably several times. Erin never asked for a list of people who were there, and how did the prosecution not know Cartwright was there? Can anyone do their f***ing job correctly in this movie?
He asked that I keep his involvement confidential, and I said I would.
Spoken like a true follower of the Holy Spirit, the screenwriter, who desperately needs to get out of a hole with a surprise witness. I mean, if I read the first 60 or so pages of this screenplay, I'd be like, yeah, all the defense has is a doctor talking pseudo-science. They're f***ing doomed, so I don't blame you for the bullshit, but I will send you.
I recognize you from those courtroom drawings on the news. You're much prettier in real life.
Making you look better than a drawing of you is a compliment.
You're losing.
What a dick. This guy has testimony that could help her out. Probably the most important testimony. And he never said anything about being in the room this whole time until now. How did he expect her to win this case without it? Anyway, thanks for stating the obvious, you penile implant.
Send me the case files and tell me when to be in court.
Man, this is too easy. There's no way this motherfucker testifies. He'll be dead way before he gets the chance. This asshole demon turns on the tape recorder instead of doing something that might destroy the tape. Like, I don't know if the demon is f***ing with Erin or if it just didn't know what to do with the tape recorder and started pressing buttons. God help me. I agree. Why the f*** are you just going back to bed again? Get out of that f***ing apartment.
3 a.m. is the demonic witching hour. It's a way for demons to mock the Holy Trinity. It's an inversion of 3 p.m., the miracle hour, which is traditionally accepted as the hour of Christ's death.
Oh boy, well, lots to tackle here. First off, if your reason for 3 a.m. being the witching hour takes that long to explain, then it's no longer a true insult, is it? That's the lamest burn God's ever experienced, I bet. Second off, how many people other than priests would know that? Some everyday person sees going down at 3 a.m. What does the witching hour nonsense mean to them? Third off, why limit yourself to 3 a.m. just for some stupid f***ing cut down? If you did it at 4 a.m., would your demonic deeds not work without the sick jab at God? Fourth, are there demons stationed in every time zone? 1 minute and 33 seconds of Tom Wilkinson walking. Holy it's the nun. Who knew this was in the Conjuring verse 8 years before that was even a thing?
When did you proceed with an exorcism?
October 31st.
On Halloween. Isn't that a bit dramatic?
Erin would be scary good at CinemaSins.
Why would you make such a tape?
Ever since the technology has been available, exorcists have used tape recorders to authenticate the ritual and provide a record for later review.
But ever since video cameras have been available, not so much.
This is the Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Roll credits. Discount Annabelle. I swear this family does not give a about their other daughters. Take them to see a movie or anything other than keeping them in the goddamn house while their sister's being exorcised. Do you want all your children to have PTSD? Because this is how all your children get ants. Holy did you try to restrain this demon with a f***ing tie?
Trick or treat, I give you treats and tricks!
As long as she doesn't ask me to smell her feet, I don't get the impression she showered recently. Also not pictured in this scene, treats. Why does this demon trying to get away from the exorcism go to a barn for easy recapture? I wouldn't suggest playing the Someone Screams Emily drinking game in this movie because there is a 100% chance you will get alcohol poisoning and possibly possessed by a demon.
I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven.
Honestly, with all the rain and lightning and it's kind of amazing the recording being played in the courtroom is clear at all. I'm gonna guess it isn't, but the movie will gloss over that. I don't know if Emily is actually possessed by a demon, but I do know the Roses need to seriously consider laying some traps in their barn or get an exterminator. So the demon summons the snake to fall on Father Moore and it pieces out? What's the purpose of falling on the priest if it's just going to slither away? All right, now it's time for some serious exorcism.
In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, I now command you, tell me your name!
I'm sure movies are using actual exorcism practices when it comes to the wording or something close, but it always just comes off to me as a lot of shouting. And because I have very little understanding of most of what is being shouted, it's about as tension-filled as someone making a balloon animal. You could be shouting off a grocery list and it would have the exact same impact.
And I am Lucifer, the devil in the flesh.
I think we need to take a sin off for Jennifer Carpenter's crazy good performance in this movie. And now that Andy's coming back to the barn, we have to pretend that we're a toy again.
Did you attempt another exorcism?
I wanted to, but Emily refused.
I mean, are you saying there were times where she acted completely normal? I don't know. It seems like it would have been nice to show her in lucid states while this was going on. It's weird, considering what we've seen, she was ever coherent enough to say no to an exorcism.
Ultimately, we both felt that she was beyond medical care and that she had to see this through to the end.
By faith alone.
But you just said 30 seconds ago.
I never said she should quit seeing her doctors. That would have been quite wrong. Medical care is not my field.
So which one is it?
Are you aware of the dual sets of vocal cords that every human possesses?
While technically humans do have 2 sets of vocal cords, it is not possible for humans to produce 2 distinct voices at the same time. I get why Ethan is using this tactic. It creates more doubt in the jury. But god damn it, Erin should be able to easily get a doctor on the stand to refute these statements, but she doesn't.
Go to the hospital, ask around. Somebody's got to know where he is.
After she says this, Erin takes a walk to some random place, and out of nowhere, Dr. Cartwright is just standing around, I guess waiting for her? If I know. Also, it's amazing demons can arrange this sort of thing, but not destroy a tape or silence the priest, or any number of things they could do to win the case. After all, these demons are like gangsters. I wouldn't be surprised if they bribed the jury. Also, where is this car even headed, and why is it moving so fast? Drinking scotch from a coffee mug. Ding!
But the Archdiocese feels that replacing you now would only draw more unnecessary attention to the trial.
What? The case is on the front page every day. What would it matter if it brought extra attention? Writing your T's and F's like J's.
The defense recalls Father Richard Moore.
I get that Carl is angry, but I have no idea what he expected Erin to do at this point. If she rests, they're probably in a worse position, and he already told her not to put Mr. Rose or Jason on the stand to corroborate Father Moore's testimony because Ethan would chew them up. So it's either call Father Moore back to the stand or definitely lose the case.
Why did God allow Emily to become possessed by demons and then die?
I can let Emily answer that.
Apparently, God wanted this to happen, so that when I die, people would just believe I was possessed with almost no evidence. Seems like the kind of plan an all-knowing creator would come up with. I have no doubt this will change the world. The Roses don't want to get Emily any more medical help. Fine, but no one is watching over her when Father Moore isn't there? Why isn't this family on trial?
Why did the demons not leave me tonight?
Because you took the drug Amutol.
Then she said, "You can come with me in peace."
I would give every sin back if the remainder of the Blessed Mother's response was, "I'll go with them in pieces."
You will suffer greatly, but through you, many will come to see that the realm of the spirit is real.
I mean, not really. There isn't any video evidence, and the audio tape isn't 100% convincing. You might get a couple of people to believe, but once everything goes back to normal and no weird shit happens anymore, what's going to be the impact? Feels like if the powers that be really wanted to make the spirit realm real for people, they could do that every day, and it wouldn't require 6 demons to crawl around in someone's body.
People say that God is dead, but how can they think that if I show them the devil?
Yeah, but you're showing the devil to a bunch of people who already believe. Everyone else who doesn't believe this thinks it's psychosis or epilepsy. This is almost literally preaching to the choir.
The stigmata are a sign, a mark indicating one is touched by God.
How fitting. He gives you unsightly wounds rather than literally anything else that would be uplifting or helpful.
Counselor.
Defense attorney waits a super long time before giving closing remark to the point that the judge has to tell them to move along, cliché.
In the case of the People versus Father Richard Moore, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty of negligent homicide.
I don't know what we're supposed to feel about this, but I've come to the conclusion that Erin did the worst job of any defense attorney I've ever seen in this movie. She decided she didn't have any facts to back her up and went with a pretty crazy defense that had no chance of working, really. I think she could have established a timeline for how long Emily was on that drug, and married that to the fact that Emily and the family were super religious and had come to the conclusion together that the drugs weren't working. And furthermore, the Catholic Church needs to invest in video cameras. I'll blame that on Erin, too.
We recommend a sentence of time served. I'll accept that.
What? Also, the jury thought he was f***ing negligent, but they don't want him to be punished all that much? Sounds like he really meant not guilty, and you guys are a bunch of f***ing assholes.
I'm offering you a full partnership in the firm.
Keep it.
This guy looks a little disappointed, but in 5 seconds, his spirits will be lifted when he realizes he doesn't have to promote a woman. Even when Emily's dead and buried, it rains. Also, are people just not allowed in graveyards with umbrellas that aren't black?
I don't know. I'm not sure what I've seen.
I'm not sure if it's a sin for the movie, but this goes a long way to show that if the ultimate goal for Emily's demon possession was to change people's minds or finally recognize the spirit realm, it failed miserably. Well, at least we know Erin is no longer scared of clocks. That was a super important plot thread for this movie to wrap up. Reading.
Oh, God! I can't! Oh, take me from this place!
Did you know that we create monthly exclusive videos for our Sin Club members? Bonus outtakes,
I don't know, Peter. Meth is a hell of a drug.
extra Sins videos,
Strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
and even member-chosen sin commentaries.
I love this. I love this kind of a sin because it's so silly.
Pick our next video and see the exclusives at patreon.com/CinemaSins, or click the link in the description below.
Spider-Man is not a parade. You do not need to stop traffic for Spider-Man.
Is the defense prepared to make its opening statement?
Everything that guy just says is bullshit.
She wrote me a letter saying that she'd been to a dance and she'd met a boy named Jason.
The counselors weren't paying any attention. They were making love while that young boy drowned.
Do you know what I would do if someone did that to me? I would kill him. I wouldn't hesitate.
No.
I would stab him 78 times with a butcher knife.
I ain't supposed to be here. Not me.
Before we get started, there's something I have to tell you.
Okay.
I was gonna let it go. You was looking so happy just now, I was thinking, but to tell you the truth, I'm glad you figured it.
The blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
Dr. Briggs, please state your qualifications for the court.
I have advanced degrees in medicine, psychiatry, and neurology from Johns Hopkins.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal. I'm very important. I have many leather-bound books, and my apartment smells of rich mahogany.
The forces of darkness are trying to keep you away from the light.
Run to the light, Caroline! Run as fast as you can!
I am Shiva, the god of death. In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, I now command you. Tell me your name.
I'm Batman.
I'm not asking that you believe everything that Father Moore believes. I'm simply asking that you believe in Father Moore.
Quoth the raven, nevermore.